Vitamin D deficiency is having a deadly impact on the health of black and brown people. Let me explain. Whilst vitamin D, everyone knows, is responsible for bone health, it has other far-reaching impacts on our overall health. It is responsible for immune function, inflammation regulation, and cell growth. Nearly every cell in our body has a vitamin D receptor.
That makes sense, but why is it more important in black and brown people?
Well, in black and brown people tend to have more melanin in their skin, and this prevents them from synthesizing vitamin D as much as a lighter skinned person. So for instance, a black and brown person would have to have more skin exposure to the sun to produce the same amount of vitamin D as a lighter individual.
Okay, so what you're saying is that it means if someone with a darker skin lives in a place with limited sunlight, they might be at a higher risk of vitamin D deficiency?
Absolutely, exactly. Let me break it down for you. So someone with a darker skin would need a much longer period of time to develop the same amount of vitamin D as a lighter skinned person. So a study has shown that for black individuals, they would produce 50 to 90% less of vitamin D given the same time exposure as a white individual. So therefore we have to be mindful of our vitamin D levels, especially when we live in areas of limited sunshine.
Wow, that's a very big difference. So what about people who take multivitamins then? Are they protected?
Well, that's a really good question, and I get this all the time. When I talk to people about vitamin D, they say, well, I'm taking a supplement, so I'm definitely protected. But when you ask them further, they're taking really, really low doses, and it doesn't cover them at all. Another misconception is many people say to me that, oh, well, I'm out and about all the time, so I get enough sunlight on my skin, and therefore I wouldn't be deficient. But one of the things that you have to realize is that unless you are out with your arms bare, your arms and your legs are bare, and the sun is high enough in the sky, and you do it for 20 minutes a day, all year round, you're hardly making any vitamin D at all. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is, as I said, it's important for immunity, and vitamin D deficiency is linked to so many things like diabetes, certain cancers, and autoimmune diseases as well. So it's really important that we keep our vitamin D levels up. And also studies have shown that in the pandemic, their vitamin D deficiency was linked to excess deaths in the black and brown community. So that's a really important thing to think about and be mindful of when you are thinking about your vitamin D levels. Also, it's not just about taking vitamin D supplement. You have to make sure you have adequate magnesium levels as well. So it's really complicated.
Okay, so it's not that straightforward then. So what's the connection with magnesium?
So magnesium is required for you to metabolize vitamin D properly. It's part of the pathway via which the vitamin D is metabolized to make it available to your body. Now, the problem with magnesium is we usually get it from our food, but the way our food is farmed these days, many people are depleting magnesium. So it's important to take a magnesium supplement as well to make sure that the vitamin D that you're taking gets metabolized and is available for you to use in your body.
Okay, and so do different people absorb vitamin D differently then?
Yeah, that's a really good question and something to consider. Yes, absolutely, yes. And that's because vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, and if you are carrying extra body fat, then your vitamin D will be absorbed into the tissues of the fat. So if you are overweight, you might need higher doses than someone who is not overweight. And it's really important to know what your levels are so that your dose can be tailored to your needs.
That's really interesting, and it's good to know as well. So do you have any like real life instances, examples and situations of someone who was vitamin D deficient, and what happened to them?
Yeah, sadly, actually, I do. I know a young person who had vitamin D deficiency and was advised by their GP to take a supplement, and they didn't take it. Subsequent to that, they were moved to a flat that had a mold problem, and they had several cold infections. Unfortunately, that person developed type 1 diabetes, and their consultant said to them that maybe the diabetes was caused by an immune reaction as a result of low vitamin D. So this condition could have developed because of their low vitamin D, something that could have been avoided if they had sufficient levels of vitamin D. And sadly, there's another incident that I came across during my career where a baby died from heart complications caused by vitamin D deficiency. That's really, really sad. When the baby's toddler sibling and mother were checked for vitamin D levels, they were both deficient, and sadly the toddler was also showing symptoms of the same problem. So quickly that was corrected, and the toddler's health was stabilized. So vitamin D deficiency can have far-reaching consequences, and it's not a joke, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. Everybody should be tested, and people should know what their levels are. Usually when one family member is deficient, it's a sign that the rest of the family members would be deficient too.
I know, that's truly heartbreaking. So what can people do?
Well, I would say right at the beginning, if you're not taking any vitamin D supplements, you should start. You should start at the dose of the NHS maximum recommended dose, which is 4,000 international units. If you are worried that that's not going to be enough for you, you can reach out to me via my website, and I can help you work out what dose is good for you, what's suitable for you. If you're interested, especially if you have a long-term condition and you're looking at reversing it or reducing your reliance on medication, also reach out to me via my website and I can help you there. My website is N4WS, which stands for Nutrition for Wellness Support. You can reach out to me there. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.